Hi, welcome to my channel If It's Got Wheels. Today I'm going to be working on and doing the brakes on a little MG TF owned by a friend of mine, so I said I'd do the brakes and I thought I'd take the opportunity to video it and show you what it's all about. Shouldn't be too much drama. Sort of tools you're going to need for this job are going to be typical socket set, trolley jack, drills, brake cleaner and various other little bits and pieces. So without further ado, I'll jack the car up and make a start. And the wheel is off. So a little bit of a safety tip, always try and put your wheel underneath the car, just in case the worst should happen. At least there's a bit of protection now. It was advised on the MOT to get these replaced because there's a little bit of a lip. I'm honest, not the worst I've seen. Let me just get you in here. So yeah, you can see there's a small lip here on the surface of the disc, and they're a bit rough. Pads themselves, I mean, there's a fair bit of meat on those, and if you can quite see, but they're not exactly that bad. So I think what we'll do is we'll get all the caliper off, get the discs off, and then we'll go from there. So first thing I'm going to do before I do anything else is to remove these little grub screws here, because it's going to be much easier to do it now than later. So we'll try with a screwdriver first of all and see how we get on. That's a little tight, so I'm going to get an impact on that. So we place a little screwdriver in there just to lock things off, because obviously you don't want, when you're using impact, you don't want to have this disc move at all really against the impact. So make sure you choose the right bit. You don't want this to be loose in here, because all it's going to do is round off, which is the last thing you want. That's the first one undone. That's gone all right. A little worried about this one because someone's been beating on that in the past. You can see that they're quite rusty, so they do tend to get seized, these little buggers. And that's the last thing you really want, otherwise you're drilling out. Yeah. Good, I can see it turning. So if I'd taken the caliper off and then did this job, then I'd be in a world of pain. Now you can see that's actually stripped, so that's actually snapped, sorry. So not uncommon. I'm not too fussed, because all these do is actually just hold the disc in alignment, because your wheel and your wheel nuts are going to actually hold the disc where it needs to be. But if I get time, I might draw that out and re-tap it. But I've still got one this side, so not too fussed. So to get the caliper off, we're going to need to undo, if you can see, so you're going to need to undo this bolt here for your sliders. We will be fully inspecting these, lubricating, cleaning up to make sure that they actually slide as they should, because if they don't, you're going to get brake binding, and then before you know it, your brand new discs are all going to be warped. And then there's two carrier bolts here and here underneath, which I'm going to remove. But before we attack any of those, I'm just going to put a little bit of GT85 penetrating fluid on it, just to hopefully loosen everything up. trouble with older cars. You never quite know what you're getting into. And before you know it, things start shearing and snapping and you're just in a world of pain. So anything you can do just to try and alleviate that, the better. I need this to be probably a 12mm. Excellent. That seems to have undone without too much trouble. So let's actually come off nice and easy. So we're going to get the caliper out of the way for a second. It's always best practice to hook your caliper up and out the way, because you don't want all the pressure, the weight of this caliper, which is quite heavy, on this particular line, because that's going to get you into a world of pain. And the last thing I really want to be doing here is disconnecting any brake lines. I just want to get in and out without too much bother. So there we go, keep that out of the way. So the two bolts I need to remove now can be clearly seen. So one bolt there and one bolt there. That's going to release this carrier. I'll take the pads off. Yeah, I can see they're well and truly in need of a clean up. There's quite a lot of corrosion on these. Now, little tip as well, for many years, I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I didn't put the steering lock on to get access to these bolts. I'd always try and do it with the steering straight, and you can struggle because you need to get a breaker bar in because they're quite tight. Obviously I can use an impact gun to get them off, but she's an old girl and I want to do this the right way. So I want to get a breaker bar in there and just to snap these off. But just having the clearance out here rather than no clearance, and I don't know why I just didn't think of it. Such a silly thing, but it's made all the difference. And that broke away nicely actually. For some reason expecting a bit of trouble there, but good. I have to say, got this Halford's Toolkit 200 piece at the beginning of the year, and I have to say I'm quite impressed with it, to be fair. It's been really quite good. So good thing about it is their lifetime warranty on them, so if anything goes, take it in, get a new one. Okay, so that's now the carrier off, so the disc should just come away now, which it does. And yeah, you can see that's probably past its best, to be honest. So we'll have a little inspection of these sliders. So what you're looking for is that they go in and out with these. And to be fair, they do. But it doesn't hurt just to take them off and have a little look. And to be fair, these are actually quite good. So you just pull them off from the boots. Make sure you inspect this boot, because that's what's going to cause you problems down the line. If those boots are cracked, then it's going to let water ingress into it, and then you're going to get rust corrosion, and then the sliders will stop working, your discs will fail, and so on and so forth. Hub seems good. Going to clean the surface of that up and stick some copper grease on it. Always best practice. So that all seems in good order. Okay, so I've cleaned the surfaces up of the carrier. Nothing too drastic. Just a nice clean edge. So when we put your pads back in, they're not going to bind. And I'm just going to have a little look at these pins. So rubber boots generally seem in good order. We'll clean all those up. I'm just going to clean off any grease, and you can see absolutely no visible corrosion. As I say, you're looking for a nice moist in and out, which it is. And I'm just going to re-grease this with a little bit of silicone grease. As I've been reliably informed, it's the best way to go. So just a little bit of new grease on there. Reattach my boot. Reinsert the slider, making sure that the boot sits over into the carrier. Bit of a tricky job actually, this. There we go. There we go, that's it. There we go. And you're looking for a nice smooth action, which you've got on there. So I'm just going to do the other side now, and then we'll get the carrier back on. So it's quite an important job to make sure that the surfaces are as clean as possible. Now I can see this has been copper greased in the past. Don't forget to wear your eye protection, but just a simple wire brush on a drill does wonders. There we go, so you're looking for as clean a surface as possible. Don't need to go overboard, but it does need to be clean. And then, as always, best practice, new copper grease on the surface. You want to try and stop corrosion, and then the person that services this next time will thank me for that, hopefully. Or maybe they won't, I don't know. A little bit of re-greasing on the studs, and there we go. Now good to receive the new disc. Not familiar with this make, APEC Blue. I'm going to take my gloves off to do this next bit, because I don't want to contaminate the new discs, although they will be cleaned with brake cleaner, just on the basis of they're going to have some protective oil on them so they don't rust out the box. Okay, one spanking new disc. So, brand new disc, so we're going to use some brake cleaner. You want to just take off all of that transit grease. Cleanest towel or microfiber cloth or rag, whatever you've got, but make sure it's clean and not contaminated, because all you're looking to do is give your brakes the best shot, because this will, keeping this oil on here is going to immediately contaminate your brake pads, which you just do not want. So that's it, nice and clean. And we can marry up the disc. The one good screw that I've got left, I'm just going to just clean that up a little. And I'm going to stick a little bit of copper grease on it. As I say, all these do, and you don't need to tighten these overly, because to be honest, they only have to hold the disc for this stage. I'm going to try and put the old screw back on, because I think there's just enough thread there to catch, which it has. And there we go. So disc is all aligned, level and cleaned. So the next thing to do will be to stick a little bit of copper slip just in the channels of the where the pads slide, just to stop any issues, and then we'll reattach the carrier. It goes that way. Okay, so now we've got some new pads to go on. And completely the wrong pads. Now this is the problem with when you are not buying the gear yourself. So looking at the old pads, there is absolutely nothing wrong with them. So we've got plenty of meat on these. So if I'm honest, I am just going to reuse the old. I'm going to redress them. Might just see if I can knock down the those lips, but they will bed back in anyway, so I'm not too worried. yeah, I'm gonna go and clean these up. Okay, so I've machine ground with a bench grinder wire wheel, sorry, these edges, just to clean any corrosion off as best I can. And then I've got this thing, which is a perma-grip block, which is a completely flat surface. So I'm just gonna rub the pads just to get rid of as much of the lines that were in there as possible, and I'll clean them up with brake cleaner in a moment. Just want to try and reuse these because at this point I've got no other option. There you go, nice surface. Clean them off with a bit of brake cleaner as best as possible. Find me cleaner rag. And there we go. We've got a reasonably redressed brake surface, which I'm going to be more than happy with, because I'm guessing the others were for the rear. You know, I could have just stuck them straight on and not thought about it, but I want to give it the best possible chance. It needs what it needs, and I've got what I've got. So I'm going to stick a little bit of copper slip on the back of the pads, just to hopefully prevent any squealing. As I say, I'm not a brake expert, but I've been doing this a few years, so just a little bit on the back of there, and the all important ends here, just to, you know, give it the best shout. Be sure not to get any copper slip on the actual braking surface itself, because you're gonna have no brakes, or very limited. Excellent. So that's ready for the piston. Now, because I'm using the original pads, I won't need to wind the piston back or push the piston back, because technically they're the same size as they were before. So I'm just going to have a quick inspection of the, if you can see, the caliper itself, just to make sure that she's in good order. And there's no obvious problems that I can see with it. It all looks to be in relatively good order. There's no seeping or anything like that. I'm just going to leave well alone, because I don't want to tempt fate, especially when it's not your own vehicle. Let's see if I can get the that pad back in, and then just stick it back on. A bit of copper grease on these too. So a bit, that's quite a lot. Way too much. And there we go. All rebuilt. Ready to go. Well, hope you found this useful. So all it is now is wheel back on and the other side to do, which is exactly the same. So I hope you found this useful, and you know, if you like my channel, please subscribe and like the video. Thank you.